Video. In today's video I will be showing how to use Jetpack Compose inside a React Native project with the new architecture. So if you don't know Jetpack Compose, so Jetpack Compose is a new UI framework from Google. It is mostly used for native Android application, but it is gaining a lot of momentum in the native Android community. So suppose if there is some kind of a UI which is very difficult to achieve via React Native, you can use Jetpack Compose for it. And integrating Jetpack Compose is not really that easy, like it's not that difficult as well. But yeah, there are few pieces which I would like to share with you so that it can help you integrate Jetpack Compose in your app pretty quickly. So first of all, I have created a React Native project. So just create a React Native project for your according to your choice, and just so this is only for Android. Jetpack Compose is only for Android. Now I know there is something called Compose multi-platform, which you can use it in iOS and desktop and web as well, but I'm honestly not interested in it. Like, I think Swift UI is a better choice for iOS, and for desktop just use like Swift UI can be used for Mac as well, and for Windows I think you can just use Win UI. So yeah, not going into that route. So this will be only for Android. So first of all, you have to enable the new architecture. So just search for new arc enabled inside your project, and it will show, go to your gradle.properties and make this as true. So this will enable new architecture for your React Native application. Next we will go to Fabric Native components, and here it tells us to create this folder first. So in our case it will be something like rtn my compose text. Okay, and inside that create this Android folder, create a JS folder. Next, inside JS you have to create this file rtn my compose text native component.ts, and here you can see, like, I have just defined this interface and I have copy pasted it from over here. Like, we are not sending any props, so that's why I have removed this, and this name has been changed according to whatever you have named. Next, inside package.json, like, I have just copy pasted this from the documentation as well. Only thing change is this file name over here, over here as well, like this name, as well as this name has been changed. Next, you have to create a podspec file. So podspec file is only for iOS, but I have created it any which ways. Again, copy pasted it from the docs, and this file name has been changed. Okay, next, for Android you have to first go to build.gradle. So inside Android, create this build.gradle file. Now if you look inside my build.gradle, it won't be the same as what has been specified in the documentation, but for now just copy everything which is present inside the documentation. I will tell you what extra bits you have to add to this build.gradle later on. So but the only thing which you have to add this for now is, after copying it from the documentation, add this, because I want to use Kotlin, as well as add this dependency as because I want to use Kotlin. Make sure the Kotlin version is 1.8.0, because this depends on this, and I will get back to this, like what we are actually doing over here. So this is the change, as well as make sure your namespace is changed according to whatever you have named. Okay, so these are the only changes for now. Next, we have to create something like this: src main java com rtn center text. So in our case it will be src main java com rtn my compose text. And what I have done is that first I have defined this my compose main text. So this is actually a Jetpack compose text. This is not an normal Android XML view text. Okay, so here you can see I have annotated with @composable. So in case you don't know about Jetpack Compose, I would highly recommend you to research about it, like how to create UI using Jetpack Compose. But this is one example of creating a Jetpack Compose view, and you can copy paste this imports for now. Okay, this is just like a normal text, but you can use any composable function, like any compose view, like image view or whatever, a column, row, whatever. Then this is my compose text.kt. So this is our old XML view system. So here you can see I have taken a linear layout, and this is the old XML view, text view. Okay, and this is a compose view. So whenever you have to show something like a composable view, so you have to take this compose view and call inside that compose view, you have to call this So whatever we have defined over here, okay, whatever we have defined in this, so we are calling it over here. So here you can see I have created a compose view. This text view is the old XML text view, and in the linear layout I'm first setting the layout params for it, then setting the orientation. Then for the old XML text view I'm setting some text and some color and text size and adding it to our view, and same for compose view as well. So this is how you show a compose view. And okay, and then I'm adding it to our linear layout. So I'm just showing two text views, like one is from the old XML view and one is from Jetpack compose. Once you have done that, okay, let's go. Okay, next you have to create this my compose text manager.kt, and this I have just copy pasted it from the docs. Like only thing changes this file name over at whatever at regular intervals, like I have changed the file name according to whatever you have named. Okay, and this my compose text package.kt, again I have copy pasted it from docs, only file name has been changed, so use proper file name whatever you have named. Next what I have done is that, so once we have written our code, so you have to run this command as well as this. So this I think is not required for Android, it is only for iOS, but any which ways I have ran it just to be on the safer side. So what you have to do is that just open your terminal and go cd to your React Native project. First run this yarn add./rtn my compose text. Okay, once you run this, then you have to do cd dot dot, which you can see over here, which it will throw you outside your React Native project, and then you have to run a command like this. The only change you have to make is this should be your main project name or folder name. So here you can see my project name is myapp3. So whatever is yours, type it over here followed by the folder which we have created, that is rtn my compose text. So it will create this generated folder which you can see over here. Next, for Android you have to do, so we will skip iOS because Jetpack compose is only for Android. Now for Android you have to again cd to the main Android folder. So this main Android folder, cd to that inside terminal, and then run this command. So it will do code generation for you. Okay, now what you have to do is open your main Android folder inside Android Studio, and okay, I will close everything for now. Then you have to go to this build.gradle, and here you have to add this Kotlin version of 1.8.0 as well as this class path. Next you have to go to build.gradle of module app, and you have to add this apply plugin Kotlin Android, as well as you have to add this line Kotlin standard lib 1.8.0. okay, now you have configured Kotlin. Now how to configure Jetpack compose? So if you try to configure manually, like adding this dependency, it is very hectic. An easy way to do is like just open this folder, open your that com.myapp3 in my case, and then right click on it, new activity, go to gallery, and here you have to select this empty activity of compose. You should see this symbol, so whatever is the latest version of Android Studio, please upgrade to it if you don't see this symbol. Okay, so you have to choose this symbol is for a compose activity. So select this, like, and click next and give it a name, like give my main activity 2 or 3 or whatever. I have already created it. And so once you click create, this file will automatically configure Jetpack compose inside your build.gradle of the main Android folder. Okay, it does not the Jetpack compose is still not configured for your this build.gradle, which we will come back later on. So just create this file and you will see that a bunch of dependencies are added to your build.gradle. So these are all the dependencies, as well as something like these things are also added. So okay, so yeah, this, and I think there are other stuffs as well which are added, but I don't think that is important. Means it is important to for us to build the project. So just create an empty compose activity and it configures everything for us, and I think later on you can delete this file, like we won't be using this file anymore. Okay, now we know what is required for compose activity. So what I have done is that I have gone to rtn my compose text inside build.gradle, and here you can see first I have added this build feature as well as this compose option. Now this compose option of Kotlin compiler extension version is 1.4.0, and this is for Kotlin standard live of 1.8.0. so if you are using different version, you might have to change this. So you can just google it, like what we have to use for whatever Kotlin standard lib you are using. Next we have to add this bunch of stuff. Now I have copy pasted this all from over here. Okay, so it is from over here. So I have copy pasted everything. Like I have not added the stage dependencies because I am not writing any kind of a unit test for this views. So once these are added, then uh, open your Android Studio. Then again you have to run this command of yarn add dot slash rtn my compose text. Okay, one more thing to notice is that do not make so once you have open Android Studio, do not make any changes over here rtn my compose text, because this changes will disappear once you do code generation again and again. So it's better to make all these changes inside this folder itself in VS Code. Again I repeat, do not make those changes inside Android Studio. Make those changes over here itself in rtn my compose, like whatever changes I have told you for build.gradle. Otherwise if you add one more like a fabric component or turbo module component and you try to run your code generation again, then all the code which you have written over here will disappear. So this is like auto generated by React Native CLI. Once you run this command, yarn add dot slash and that cd android dot slash gradle w assemble something. Okay, so once you do all add this everything, make sure you run this again, yarn add dot slash. Next what you have to do is that now this is an important step, so which I have noticed, like I was facing an issue. So if you try to run your app again using yarn React Native run Android, you will face some issue. So to detect what exactly issue was I was facing is that I opened the main Android folder in Android Studio, like which we have currently, and I clicked on this build icon. So once you click on this build icon, you might see an error saying that there are duplicate resources for themes.xml, and it will also point you to the file which is duplicate. So I think that duplicate file gets created once we create this main activity of compose. So all you have to do is that I think it would be somewhere over here, something like this, and you just have to right click on it and just delete it. Okay, something like this. So I have already deleted that file, that's why it's not visible over here. But make sure this is an important step. So just click on this make project, and it will, if there are any duplicate resources or any issues, it will actually tell you what those issues are, and you just have to right click on it and delete that file, and I think then you are good to go. That should be it. Now to use it, like just you can just import it something like this, and yeah, you can just use it like this. I think that should be it. Thank you.